Nerd Lag Game Club. Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, the podcast where we play games instead of reading books. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by three party members today: Lauren,
Hey.
Tonsa,
Yo.
and Danboy.
Hello!
In this episode of the Game Club, we're joining the world of cats and dogs and playing Cat Quest II. Cat Quest II is released on September 19th, 2019, and was developed and published by the Gentlebros. The Gentlebros have developed Cat Quest 1 and 2, which we covered Cat Quest 1 in Season 1, so go ahead and check that out, and a game called Slashy Hero, which I probably mentioned the last time we covered Cat Quest. Before we get any further into Cat Quest 2, I want to give a spoiler warning, and I would recommend playing this before listening to the episode. This was our game for March, and it was Dan's pick, but I'm going to give a brief summary of the story for Cat Quest 2. So Cat Quest 2 isn't all that much different than the first game, other than this one revolves around two kings. One is a cat, and the other is a dog. They decide to work together to save the current state of the world instead of fighting one another. And as a duo, you travel around and take out the evil bad guys and enemies and help people do little side quests along the way. But for the most part, it's just an action RPG and kind of leans more on the gameplay than the story. Speaking of gameplay, in each episode we break up the main points of the game between us, and starting with gameplay and mechanics, Tonsa is going to tell us all about them for Cat Quest 2.
Yay. It's so weird since we already covered this game before, because the combat really didn't change, besides it's more co-op oriented. You always have a pal with you. Basically, action adventure, hack and slash with magical abilities. This time you could equip. Could you equip 4 last time? I just don't remember now.
I don't think so. I think you only had 2.
Yeah, you can have up to 4 abilities per character. And then each character could be built different, like surrounded by, like, I did the cat as a mage, the dog as like a tank, like warrior. And you just go around beating up stuff, go through dungeons. It's kind of like a looter game in a way. I'm just trying to think of, I'm trying to remember how I described the first game, and not repeat that again. It's the same thing.
It's just an action RPG, a lot of dodging and slashing, or keeping your distance and magic.
Rolling.
It's fast paced when it comes to like collecting items and weapons. If you pick up the same item, it levels it up, or you can level it up by using your gold. So there's 2 ways that you can level up items, technically. Same with the magic, you just use your gold to level it up. Armor is the same way as weapons. So it's a simplistic action RPG at its base, but it's pretty good. Like, it's not that much different than the first game, though.
No, that's what I was gonna get. Like, it's, besides it being co-op and then maybe the 4 abilities, I think that's the only thing that really makes it different.
Yeah, because even art is pretty much the same. Like, it looks the same. All right, Lauren, you are going to tell us about the art design of Cat Quest 2. So what you got for us?
So, like Tonsa and Corey said, it's very much like the first game when it comes to art style. I don't really know how to dive too much into that. There's only 2 people listed on their website as artists, which is Desmond Wong, which is the CEO of the Gentlebros company, and Syaz, which is technically the CFO, which is interesting to me that Syaz is the writer and an artist, but also the CFO. Syaz was the only female when they started it. There's 3 of them, 2 dudes, them. They worked for Koei Tecmo before they did this, which was interesting. Didn't know that. Didn't realize that. I guess they left on good terms when they were making the first game and the second one. The people from there were super supportive, gave them advice if they needed it. So I guess that's all good.
Do you
That's all I really.
know? Do you know what portion of like Koei Tecmo that they were part of?
I don't know, only because like the article I found, the interview with them, it says something along the lines of like it just says they were working at Japanese games publisher Koei Tecmo, which has popular titles like Dead or Alive, Fatal Frame, and Dynasty Warriors. I don't know if those are the ones they worked on, and that's why they listed them.
I'm not sure. I was
But
just curious if it credited them anywhere.
That'd be
yeah,
such a
not
weird one.
that I could find. I did see. I guess they all three sat by each other in the office, and that's when they were just like, "Hey, we should make our own game and see where it goes." And that's how that started.
That's pretty interesting. I like that.
Yeah, just a bunch of coworkers hanging out.
I decided to take a chance on something.
Yeah, and I guess they literally said like the only thing that was stopping them was they were like, "Oh, money," but then they were like, "Well, we shouldn't let money keep us from giving this a real shot." So they used their savings, and they were like, "Oh, working full time gave us the money to save to start this." And then publishers gave them the rest, basically.
Good old risk takers. Good for them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree.
Anything else, or should we move on?
No, I should probably just move on. I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably listened to the first one, so I don't really want to repeat anything.
And if you haven't, go check it out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move on to sound and music. Dan, this is your section. So how about you tell us about the sound design and music for Cat Quest 2?
So I can't, for the most part, can't really find much about the person that does the like soundtrack of the game. But from what I can find, his name is Brian Havey, whatever you want to pronounce it. He also goes by Z-1. And he kind of did the OST for Cat Quest 2. There's a bunch of other games that or other things that he did, OST for. So that's kind of what he does. He just does gaming soundtracks for the most part, it seems like. But felt like the music in this game was basically just the same as the first one, if I remember correctly. Like all the sounds are basically the same. Then whenever you get up to the Lupus Empire, it's a little bit different.
To be completely honest, I don't even remember the music.
Yeah, I didn't really pay too close attention to the music. I do know at like one point, I think it might be just the Lupus Empire in general, or it's like, I don't know, at a certain point, it kind of gave me like, I was gonna say like ninja vibes, like very Japanese styled music, I guess. But I think that was like at a certain point, because it's like you have like your ninja type enemies that are somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different types of enemies, but I remember the ninja ones sort of.
Only sound
Yeah.
I really recall like standing out to me is like certain main quest like dungeon, like when you're in there, there's like a sound that plays that sounds like super familiar. I couldn't recognize it if it was just from the first game or just that. It was weird. I don't know how to describe the sound because it was in the dungeons during when they'd send you on like weird fetch quests and you'd go in there.
Yeah.
I feel like it was the same, almost the same sound every time.
I'm pretty sure all the sounds are basically the same for the most part. Because it's like the map is, I think, the exact same. Like for the feline guard, like
That's what I
country.
think. I think so too. When I first started the
I think
game, because you start there, I was like, "Is this the same
yeah,
map?"
yeah.
And then you got like the
But
addition in like the northeast, like which is like the dog country or whatever.
yeah, Lupus, the Lupus
Yeah,
Empire.
that's like all new, but I think the other portion is the same, or at least very
Yeah,
similar.
but I mean, the music and stuff in the game isn't bad by any means. It's just not really like too memorable.
Yeah,
Like nothing really stands out too much.
I'll go on my previous statement. I think this game, and the first one did it as well. It relies heavily on the gameplay itself.
Yeah,
The story's like pretty average. They throw in like your cat puns and dog puns stuff, but like if you don't like the gameplay, you're probably not going to play this game.
yeah,
Like some other games, you might stick around for the story or because of the way it looks, or maybe you're really invested in the music. But like this one is like I said, it leans heavily on the gameplay. If you don't like it, you're probably gonna stop playing it within the first like hour. So that was sound and music. And now we can open up the floor and talk about anything that made an impact. So do you guys have anything that you want to talk about?
There's the one quest line stuff. Well, there's a couple of quest lines where it's like kind of takes inspiration from like other media type things. Like you have the one quest line with I think his name was Barkthan Drake, which I would assume was supposed to be a play on Nathan Drake because he's like a treasure hunter. Then you also had I think it was Meow Ruto.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had like
Yeah,
the Saving Private Perkin. Whatever. I don't know. It's
yeah,
all it's all punny names.
yeah, yeah. And I love it.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it does it. The first game did it. This game does it. It loves those cat and dog puns,
And I love it too.
I think the first thing that I'll point out for myself would be when you find the founders. I really like that part because it, like, when you go to talk to the founders, they're like, "Oh, like you got to be this crazy level." I don't remember what it is, but something like absurd, and it's like 5-star difficulty, like challenge, and you're like, "Oh, okay, like this might actually be difficult." And then the first side mission you do, he just talks to you, and then it completes it, and you get like 1 XP, 1 gold, and then you talk to like the next founder for the next side quest, and it's the same thing, and they just say stuff to you like, "Oh, I'm gonna delete your save file," and you're just like, "Okay," and then the screen goes black, and then it comes back, and they're like, "Oh, you're still here or whatever," and then the other one's like, "I'm gonna play whatever music I want to play here." Is like the third mission, and then the fourth mission like is, I don't remember what they do, but it's always like something like them messing with the game. At the end, you like open up this portal, and they're like, "Okay, like you got to go into the portal," and then you go in, and they're all there, and they're like, "Now is the true test," and then they fight you like 4-on-1 or 4-on-2 technically, and they're really weak. And I was like,
Oh
man,
no, they beat my ass.
oh, I must have found it too late then, because I didn't struggle with it
Yeah, I
at all.
guess. Because I basically went there right after I got the water walking. I think I got the water walking at like 45-ish. And yeah,
They beat you down.
oh yeah.
I didn't know anything about it until I found like the tomb that was like, "Oh, like you gotta," there's like a note that's like, "The founders are on this island out in the ocean," or whatever. And I looked at the map, and I was like, "Oh shit, would you look at
yeah.
that?" But that was my first one. I just like it because it's like, it makes it seem like it's going to be extremely difficult, and it's not.
Not for you.
Yeah, not for me, I guess. But that was pretty cool. I did want to point out, because you made me think of it, Dan, they took away flying in this game,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I liked flying in the other game.
Hey, now that I think about it, were you supposed to lose your abilities? Or did that just happen to me? Like at one point, I lost like the ability to damage while you were rolling.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
was
because
like,
then you have to like start trying to get them back.
well, you like it's like you get one, and it's like, oh, I got water walking back like right after that, and then it's like I got them all back the next thing, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head at what point that happens because I think that has
Is it
something to do with
Well,
like
it's like you're trying to get. It's like right after the last like shard thing.
yeah, whenever
They like steal it. They beat you to.
Arlius and Lupin or Wolfen and
I don't remember their names.
Lioner steal the shards from you, I think, and then you lose your
Hmm.
abilities.
Dan, you 100% of this game, right?
Yes,
Was it worth it?
kinda. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was like that much difficult to do, really. I feel like it was harder to do it on this one than on the first one.
So my issue was like because you can't fly, and you either have to like use the towers to teleport or like run.
Yeah.
Running to every cave was driving me insane.
Yeah, I don't know, I just kinda ran everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Is there anything that you get for completing everything?
You don't really get anything specific. Because it's like, I don't know. To beat all the dungeons, you'll get all the different gear. And then, like level 200 gear is pretty good. Like 150. The two level 150 gears are pretty cool. But it's like, I don't know. There's nothing like really cool whenever you get everything.
I was just curious if they added in.
But then there's also like, I guess there's some armor you can only get like if you play through like New Game Plus or the Mew game, which gives you like set difficulties. Like, oh, you can only use magic. Oh, you can only I don't know. Only have like so much health or something. I don't know. It's like a challenge mode basically.
They
And
took
then
away
there's,
my
like,
favorite
certain
weapon.
stuff you can only get there. Wait, what?
They took away my favorite weapon from the first game.
Which one was that?
Willpower, where it just looks like you're throwing your hands around.
Oh no, there's that. It's zero will.
Oh, is that what I didn't get it? So like, well, I also
Yeah,
didn't finish
it was somewhere. I don't remember where. It might have been. I think it was in the Lonely Cave with like the level 200 cave, and then there's
Oh,
just
with
like
the,
the
like,
one
little
single
sheet
enemy in
thing?
there. Yeah. I think it was that cave that gives you it.
I died in there the first time.
Yeah, that thing does not play around. Yeah.
it does like 13,000 damage or something stupid. It was like
Yeah.
one shot me.
I had to like basically like cheese it, kinda. Like I had my cat have the gravity ability, where it's like it pulls people into it, and then I would switch to like my mage, and I would just kind of, just shoot it from like a distance while it can't really like move or do anything to me, and then I would just keep doing it constantly.
Yeah, I went in and died, so nah, I was like, all right, I'll come back to it eventually, and then I just never did. But yeah, Lauren, Tonsa, do you guys have anything that made an impact for you?
Getting the weird hot dog sword. That was a weird quest. And like fuck Caesar salad or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Caesar salad. Well, it was Caesar salad.
Yeah. Man, I'm glad we got to fight him in the end. It's just so weird.
Yeah, they just like some of the side quests are so strange. Lauren, did you have anything?
I wouldn't say anything in particular that like stood out to me. I all around just like those games, so I enjoyed what I was playing. I did like that some people complain that you have an AI with you, but I liked having a mage with me. So if I didn't feel like fighting as like a DPS type of thing, I could switch to playing the mage or vice versa. Or I had somebody that was always providing support, regardless if that was, the barrier bubble or if that was healing or whatever. I didn't have to worry about strategy too much. I could play a little more reckless. So I did like that.
I liked it too because I could build each character differently.
Yeah.
Like my cat, I focused primarily on being a mage, so like I buffed its like magic attack and like focused on that. Gave it
Same.
like less health, but like more magic, you know. And then my dog, I made him just like a straight up tank. So like anything that gave him more armor or more health or more attack power, like that's what he was getting. So I did like that. That was actually a really cool feature with having like an AI companion.
Yeah. I think the game would be really fun to play co-op, honestly.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good time. Also, there's a side quest where you just have a staring contest with a cat.
Yeah, I love.
Or the rock paper scissors one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Where it doesn't matter what you pick, you always
Yeah.
win.
What do you mean? I was the best. I picked the right answer.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't, Tonsa. You trash.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else. I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's so much like that first one that it's hard to pull away like anything like new or anything that like blew me away. All right, did you guys want to move on to time to completion?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure.
All right, because I don't know my actual time in this because I played on the Switch.
Same.
Boo.
So I'm gonna assume that it took me around 7 hours to finish it. Maybe a
Yeah.
little more, but I kind of sped through it like originally, and then I went back and played the side stuff later.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna say 7 or 8 for me. I played on the PS4. I'm not sure if it gives you the breakdown like Xbox. It's been a while, but I can't log into that because apparently I don't know my login.
Boo.
What about you, Lauren? What do you think?
I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe 8 or 9 hours. I was kind of just running around, just doing random stuff, fighting enemies, and then going in somewhere and doing a dungeon if I seen it. So I would say somewhere around there, probably.
That sounds about fair. What about you, Dan?
9.7.
Okay, so you had less than what I thought you had.
Yeah,
So
not bad, not bad.
with you completing everything, my 7 makes me feel a little more confident. One more time here. Is there anything else you want to talk about for Cat Quest 2?
No.
All right, so we're going to move into recommendation. Each episode, we go around and find out if we would recommend the game we're playing and why or why not. So, starting with Tonsa this episode, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
Yeah, of course. It's a good sequel. If you've played Cat Quest or like those action adventure style games, I think it's perfect. In the sense of it's a good. Well, this one's I think, a little longer, so you get more of a game out of it. But it's definitely just a super casual good time.
Lauren?
Yeah, I like these games a lot. I like the hack and slash, and I feel like it doesn't give me too much going on. Some games, even hack and slash games, will have like too much story or too much of like, oh, you have choices on what you pick, and I hate making choices. So these ones are like that perfect middle ground. They're not too long, not too short, right in that sweet spot. So yeah, and I got the double pack, so it came with the first and second one for the Switch.
I ended up playing your copy, even though I own it on Steam.
Yeah.
Yay.
What about you, Dan? Would you recommend this one?
Yeah. I enjoyed this just as much as I enjoyed the first one. Felt, I don't know. Kind of enjoy like the story stuff. I'm kind of like invested in the story. It's kind of interesting, like in a way, you know.
I would also recommend it. I do wish they would have added a little more to make it somewhat different than the first game. Like not a bunch to change it drastically, but like just they did the co-op thing, which is fine, but it doesn't really make the game all that much different. Yes, I would recommend this game. Do you guys have any reviews for this? There should be some. So at the end, like towards the end of each episode with the games we play, we like to jump into the review page of Steam and wherever else you can find reviews and just read some in a section a segment we like to call Good, Bad, and Funny. So let's get some good reviews, bad
This
reviews.
review just opened up a whole world to me that I forgot to even talk about. The stupid pun names of the towns. Because there's the one Dog Town. It's like the very first town you get to. I think it's that town. But this review, how the hell did they get away with adding a city called Pound Town?
Yeah, that's the first one you go to.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
There's one that just says Cat Quest 2 greater than Path of Exile.
That's a bold. This one says, my girlfriend forces me to play this game with her. I have no regrets.
This one, Cat Quest is furring great, and this one is possum as well.
They use the puns.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Pawtastic. Can't wait for Cat Quest 3.
Yeah, well, that's something that they hint at the end.
Yeah. There's a review that just says cat.
Cat.
Yeah, and then there's one that says meow, 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 meow. Just a spam of them.
Oh my god, people. Their spam reviews. Or is it like making fun of the commercial?
Oh,
No,
here's
here's a thumbs down one. And it says, I'll just paraphrase. It just says, the first game is much better. I would recommend Cat Quest 2 only if you're going to play co-op. Otherwise, do not play the sequel. It's much shorter, and the story's nowhere near as good as the first one. And then they go on to say something about control and invincibility with the co-op person.
Here's one that I really love. This is the most ambitious open world game of this generation. Me. I should have taken the voice acting gig of this instead of CP 2077, Keanu Reeves.
He loves games about animals.
Yeah.
I think you guys will appreciate this one. It's a not recommend. And
Aw.
it says, it's so much like Cat Quest 1, it's indistinguishable from it, except the dungeons are much more tight, which doesn't bode well if you're using mouse and keyboard. I finally threw in the towel when I was level 18 and couldn't get through a level 12 dungeon because of this.
Yikes.
What?
It must
better.
be bad. Yeah.
Or mouse and keyboard is that bad?
I don't know. Or they're that bad at mouse and keyboard.
True, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't try it, so I wouldn't know.
Just
This one's good. It says, recommend 19 hours on record. I would perform an unholy amount of blood rituals just to re-experience the feeling of raw ecstasy from first playing this gift from the gods.
All right.
Well,
Satanic worship over here.
I'm not a furry, but this game makes me one.
Oh, I love
Nice.
reviews.
Icy Danny.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. That was it. That was me. Shout out me.
Shout out Ed.
Lots of puns here.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good.
Is that we good on reviews?
Yeah, they kind of all start saying the same thing after a while.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
All right. So I have the pick for the month of April. So I'm going to tell everyone what game we're playing and why I chose it. So the game we're playing for the month of April is Wintermoor Tactics Club. It is a visual novel tactical RPG that takes place in like a school, and they're in a club that's called CNC, which is just a play on D&D. And the school holds a competition, and if your club loses at that competition, then your club has to disband.
You die. Oh.
So it's a visual novel mixed with a tactic RPG. It's about 7.5 hours. And currently it is $8 on Steam.
Nice.
Lies. Looking at it right now.
Yeah. It looked pretty
Fourteen.
cool.
$14.99 on Steam.
Yeah?
Must
Yeah.
have went up since you picked it.
Yeah, $14.99.
Still falls in our
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's price is fine. He just boldly claimed his $8. I'm looking right at it.
I'm literally looking at on the... Oh, maybe this is for the soundtrack. Never mind.
I was like, this was already in my wish list. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yeah, I figured it's something different, and it could have been, it's pretty cool.
I think it looks cool. I
So-
definitely
It's
Like,
$11
could change
bucks
the
on
taste.
Fanatical, so if you wanted to save a few dollars.
so cool.
Yeah, so that's what we're playing for the month of April. Should be fun. Something different. Great. I had a lot of fun today talking about Cat Quest 2 on NLGC, but before we go, we wanted to share where you can find us online.
First, we have a YouTube channel called Nerdlag where we'll be uploading some great content. So make sure to subscribe for the latest videos. We have a Facebook page at Nerdlag Game Club. Make sure to like the page so you can get the latest news about the podcast. You can also find us over on Twitter at Nerdlag, where we share some of the latest gaming news and stuff we find interesting. And lastly, we have a Discord at Nerdlag, where you can talk to us in voice chat and join in some discussion about everything nerdy, like video games, anime, movies, and chat with like-minded people. If you would like to join, ask for an invite. We also want to thank everyone that tuned in for this episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends. And also follow us on Spotify. It really helps.
On to the final credits. At the end of each episode, we just talk for a few minutes about what's going on in our lives, what we're playing, or just anything in general we want to talk about. So, do you guys have anything you want to talk about this episode?
No raft.
No raft.
No rat.
I like that one day we were going to play it. Then we played Fortnite.
Dude, I wanted to play raft, and then I swear you said, "Hey, I'm not gonna be on for very long."
I
because
wasn't.
I have
And
to
then we
wake
started
up,
having
and then
we started having fun. I changed my decision. That was originally
Yeah.
the plan, was to play raft, and then he was
and then
like,
it was your fault that we didn't.
yeah, I guess. Also, you got on like way later than I expected.
Well,
Just-
we went
just-
to PAX East over the weekend for the first time.
Woo!
Yeah.
So that was an experience.
Yeah.
Dan, you didn't go.
Yeah. Dan was in there.
Pretty cool experience. There's a lot going on, so it's like really overwhelming at some points. But I really liked all the games we got to play, like from all these little indie studios that had like game setup. So I think that was my favorite part of it.
Agreed. I mean, that's all it is basically trying out games, and like, if we did more like networking, this would be a place to push stuff. But we just, spectated, talk to people,
That sounds scary.
I bought
talking to people.
I bought
Yeah.
all kinds of shit at the Intel booth.
Intel, shout out Intel.
Sadly, that mouse pad's too big.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
take it
planning-
off your hands.
No, I plan on getting a new desk anyways. I don't know when. I just put it back in the box.
Fine.
Oh,
Funny thing is the one of the desk mats that I picked out for Lauren. Apparently, there's Maple Story characters on it.
that's
Yeah. Bill was telling me, he's like, this thing's basically Maple Story themed. He's like, this character's from it, this character's from it. He's like, honestly, this would make more sense for me to have it. I was like,
Was he trying to get it from you?
yeah, I'm like, listen, man, if I would have known that, I would have picked you up one when I was there, but I didn't know that. It's
I also
my
didn't
desk.
know that.
Actually, the one I got, I'm pretty sure I followed like the artist like on Instagram or Twitter from forever ago.
That's pretty cool.
Because it gives a little bio of the artist on the back of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that till that's what he was telling me. He's like, oh, it says where it's from, like who did it or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't notice
They're
until I
like-
opened it.
Yeah, I literally just opened it and slapped it on my desk at work. That was about it.
I do love that at PAX, me and Tonsa are more of gamers than Lauren is, but we didn't buy anything.
Yeah,
And she bought
I
a ton of
spent the
stuff.
most money. I bought 2 desk mats from the Intel booth. I got one on my desk here and then one at work. I got this really cool. Well, I think it's cool. Corey probably doesn't care, but it came with a free poster, which has like a breakdown of like a processor being put into it, and it's got cool little like army guys and all kinds of stuff. Pretty neat. And a little keychain. I got a sweatshirt, well, a long sleeve shirt. I got some games that are like PAX exclusives and just random things like that. I spent too much money, but that's typical.
Yeah, convention spending. Woo!
Ooh.
Um, and then last night we all started playing Ember. Well, Tonsa didn't, but us
Yeah, the
three.
rest of us did.
And I had a pretty good time with that. That was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I had a good time too. I didn't even know what the game was originally when I see it on clearance all the time at GameStop, but it's pretty fun.
It's just like a goofy firefighter simulator.
For the
Yeah.
most part, yeah.
But towards the end of us playing, I got the grappling hook, which is totally a real thing.
Oh yeah. All firefighters use that.
Yeah, they all use
Yeah.
grappling hooks to get to the top of buildings.
When I was
Yeah,
watching
with
you
the
guys, I was
ladder.
like, man, this game needs a grappling hook. I'm glad there was one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun actually. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But then when we started playing it, and like the first level, I was like, okay, like it is what it is. And then like the more I got, like the more we unlocked stuff and got new equipment, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
played for a while.
Yeah, I think we played
Yeah,
for
it
like
was like
3
3 hours.
hours. It's a
Yeah.
long time for me
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Lauren.
yeah. Yeah, no, I was impressed.
It was my idea to play games too.
Yeah, Dan
And it
called me
was
a
my idea
bozo.
to play that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked him if he wanted to play something. He said, nah, mate, bozo. So then, you know, to my surprise, you guys are all playing games. I'm like, I wasn't invited.
You
Yeah,
had to
just
finish
an
Cat Quest. It's not my fault.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, but you gotta fucking paraphrase. I got done like a half hour after your stream started.
Oh, damn.
Well, we were full after that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was just watching you guys.
Yeah,
I just watched TV.
Adam technically, like, we didn't invite him. He just joined
He
into
just ended
our
up with us.
Discord, and he was talking to us like, "Oh, what are you guys playing?" And the next thing you know, it pops up in the corner of my screen that Adam started playing the same game.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I guess we're picking up Adam now.
Well, yeah, like it's fine. Like I don't care.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like
It was fun.
he just invited himself.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
But
Fun time.
anything else? Dan, Tonsa?
Nope. Think we're good.
I'd say I haven't really played as much recently.
Oh, something we can mention, kinda, I guess, if anyone really cares. I think it's the Wii U and the 3DS eShop shut down like 2 days ago yesterday.
Is it fully shut down? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finally shut down.
Yeah, I seen like a bunch of posts of people modding 3DSs.
Yup.
There was like somebody made a video. I think it was a video where they spent like $44,000 and bought everything digital on
I
both
think
the
that was
3DS and Wii U.
I think that's the completionist.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, like the YouTuber.
Yeah, I seen that and I was like, that is so much money.
Yeah, I believe that's the completionist because I seen he did it.
But I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, end of an era.
I'm trying to think of what's on the Wii U shop that would be like crazy.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles X has already skyrocketed for the physical.
Oh, that would be it. Basically, is all the physicals.
It is already $175 or something.
Don't worry, I feel like I fucked up real bad not buying either of the Xenoblades when they were like $40. Because like I was like, I'll get it, and then it'll finally come down. Because like there's enough of them in rotation, and then it's just because it's a Nintendo product, it will never come back down. It only went up.
I feel bad for the people that buy these at like $180, and then Nintendo one day goes, "Oh, we're just gonna put it on the Switch."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so end of an era. Rest or R.I.P. Right?
Yeah, R.I.P.
No more Pokemon Home unless you already had it downloaded.
Bank.
Bang,
Pokemon
bang,
Bank.
bang. Sorry,
Are they the same thing?
no.
Kinda, not really. They're the same premise,
Yeah, so Bank was for older games.
like 3DS games.
Yeah, it was like a convoluted problem where you had to send it from like the game to the bank to like
Yeah, to
then
the next
home.
game. Oh, to then home.
Yeah, and then like if you were
That
even
was-
older, it was like from that game to like Black and White 2 to Bank to home.
Yeah, convoluted.
Yeah, so if you had any of that old stuff and you didn't have Bank downloaded, they are gone forever.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
But
those
now
will
with
be
it-
on the
With it
rise.
shutting, but now with the eShop shutting down, it's just free if you had it installed already. So you don't have to pay for like this subscription to use it anymore.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
those 3DSs are gonna probably skyrocket. Kind of like
Yeah.
the Flappy Bird phones back in the day.
Yeah.
Or you remember PS4? They're like, oh, people were selling the PS4 with
PT.
PT,
Oh,
and I was
yeah, that was
like,
another
you're
one.
crazy. I have that downloaded. I don't like.
So
I never thought of like I'm gonna sell my PS4.
sell
It
it.
can't be worth shit, man. They're not doing it.
Sell it.
Sell it. Just sell it.
Sell it
Yes.
for $2.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Let's go ahead and we'll end this episode. It was a little bit shorter, but Cat Quest 2 is basically the same game. And we will be back soon for Wintermore, and we will talk to you guys then. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.